Hey y'all, welcome to Crappy Crafts and Other Ridiculous and Wonderful Things. I'm so excited because I'm wearing the new shirt. Oh, look at this. And I thought it turned out really pretty. So this is with that puff paint. Sorry, not puff paint, puff vinyl. And I love the hearts on it. I think it just turned out really great. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I've had a lot on my mind over the last few days. So I find that a lot of times I end up working on my Cricut without even realizing it, just to try to kind of, I either like to do crafting or I like to cook or something. I like to do something, otherwise I call it stinking thinking, because you just start thinking about things that are negative, and you know, negative seems to just breed more negativity. And so I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm gonna move the chair a little bit, there we go. And so I started a few things. So the first thing that I want to show you is layers. So I have this beautiful frame that I picked up. I like to get things like after the holidays, if they're on sale, things like that. And so this is actually a Christmas frame. It's a Christmas shadow box. So you can see that there's room between the back and the glass. And so I thought, you know what, this would be a really pretty Valentine's Day frame. And I haven't done anything with it. I've had this for a few years. So it's time, right? So when the material isn't going to be this size, because it's going to be actually all the way around and stuff. So it's going to be more like this size. So the first thing that I wanted to do is, I don't want this blank because we've already seen that this is going to be smaller. And so what I did was I went through different papers that I have. Oh, I have some really cool papers, and so I want to share them with you. And so I almost ended up with this one. Isn't that pretty, with like the little velvet hearts? And then I've got some white shiny stuff. I really love this. It's got a really good texture to it. I think it's beautiful rose pattern. I know this is really kind of vintagey looking. Oh, there's two sheets. Ooh. And then here's another one that's kind of velvety. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this gold one. Ooh, that's beautiful. Can you see this okay? Yeah. And then there's a pink one. Believe it or not, I tried all of these because I was trying to pick out the papers. You know, you pick out the papers ahead of time. And so what I ended up with was this one, because I feel like these patterns are going to be really perfect on this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do experiment, because you know I like to do crafty crafts. So what I want to do is I'm going to cover this in Mod Podge, which is that glue, but I want to cover it in this overall, this paper. And so to do that, I want it to be on here, but sometimes what it does is, because the Mod Podge is wet, it kind of wrinkles. So I'm going to try this trick that I've been reading about or watching about. And that's where you put the Mod Podge on and let it dry. Then you put the paper on and then you iron it on. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, we'll be using the red with the red velvet. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that while we're talking. I'm really excited. Oops, I got a lot on here. So I'm really excited to do these shadow boxes. This is doing the 3D art is like some of my favorite, it's like one of my favorite things to do. I have a new family member and I just gave her some owls, and I said, oh, I made those. Really? You made these? I'm like, yeah, because they really do look good. I always look at things like that and I'm like, I made those? So that was kind of cool. So I've got the Mod Podge on. This is plenty. So I'm going to let it dry, make sure I have it on all the spots here. So I'll go ahead and let that dry while we talk some more. And then I can just rinse this out later. One of the things that I wanted to mention is that I get a lot of my SVGs. So you can get free things, which you know me, I like free. So you can get free, these are called SVGs when you're doing the die cuts. You can get free SVGs from like Design Space, you know, Cricut Design Space, and that's wonderful. So the thought always in my head is, what if I want to sell something? And so one of the things, thank you brother, that I have this year is, and I already have a bunch of things that are licensed, but for this Christmas, my brother doesn't know that he bought it for me, but he bought me an annual subscription to Creative Fabrica. And so Creative Fabrica, once you have that annual subscription, you can do monthly, it includes licensed product. And so in other words, I don't have to worry about, like if I make this and I really like it and want to actually sell it, I can. I don't have to worry about copyright infringement or anything like that. But what I'll do is I will put the link to Creative Fabrica for this specific SVG. There's actually a few of them. There's a puppy, there's like 2 puppies, there's a Cupid and something else. What's really nice about these is you upload them, then once you get them in your computer, you open up the file on your File Explorer and you just click once, and then up top it should say extract all. So you can extract all, and that creates actually another folder. So now you have something called, whatever that was called, like 3D Valentine something. But now it's going to be, and that one was called .zip, and so the new one will just be a folder for the 3D. So then you go into the SVGs and you've got the files that you need. So once you go into Design Space, you click on Upload and then Browse, and you look through your computer and you find that file that you have the 3D Valentine thing in. And then what I did was I just uploaded that last picture, that was the last SVG, because it was labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. So I uploaded 5. Then it uploads into the project area, and then the whole thing is there. And so it's laid out by Matt, and so I didn't have to do anything other than change the size because it was made for a bigger frame. And usually a lot of times with Cricut, this stuff we're going to work 12 by 12. And so this is more of an 8.5 by 10 by 11. So I measured this out though, because don't forget you're going to lose space here. And so I measured the glass part that's showing out, and then I didn't want to hit it like at the very top or the very bottom or the side. So I went ahead and made it within, so that it doesn't look overwhelming or like it was just placed there, right? We want it to be part of the craft. And so what it does then is it splits it up by mat. And so you have different mats for each layer. And so I had this as a sample, and so what I did was I looked at my different papers and what colors I wanted to use to get these designs, and it gives you an example on the Design Space. When you're going to cut it, it shows like different colors of the paper that should be loaded on the mat. So that's kind of cool, right? Kind of takes the guessing game out, but I wanted to adjust it to something that I wanted. So I still might have screwed up just a little bit. I made a color that I want, whatever. The really cool part about this is as we're putting this together, you'll see we just do whatever we want. So there we go. And we just make it look like ours. And because it's licensed, I'm not really worried about anything. Okay, so what I want to do now, so the Mod Podge is dry. This is interesting, right? I should have been, I need to plug this in. I unplug this kind of thing when I'm not working with it, just in case. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And so it's going to heat up. And then the hearts kind of go up and down. So that's really the only pattern there is that you can use it. So I want to make sure that my back is correct. See? And I'm going to go ahead and try that in the sun. If it doesn't work, then all I'm going to do is Mod Podge again, right? I mean, it's not going to hurt it at all. And it might give it a little bit more effect. It doesn't matter. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's going to fit in the rim, so it'll be fine. See, there's a little bit of space there for air. So this thing is heating up. It's at 104. And so while we're talking about that, while I was doing these, one of the things that I ran into is some of the stuff that I have is very good, like heavy paper stock, and like this one is more of like a thicker paper that we would use, like poster paper, but then this one here is like a really good thick cardstock. And so it kind of depends on what paper you're using. I wasn't thinking, and so I put this regular poster paper type of material on my standard mat, and it actually stuck to the mat because it was too strong of a hold for this simple paper. And so what I also found was that I was thinking that this was a Cricut. It doesn't say Cricut. This is Cricut. So what happens is part of the paper stayed on the mat. It didn't come off with the mat. And so I'm using my generic thing, which I'm so glad I have this because I like having spare things. But as I'm doing it, like this thing is just like bending all over the place, and I thought, what? Well, so then I have a handy dandy, I have a few of these. So like I started using the one that had Cricut, and I was like, oh yeah, this is so much better. So just letting you know, I got what I paid for, but it is nice to have that. Anyways, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try this. I'm so excited to do this with you. Let's see how it goes. Okay, we're at 266, that should be plenty. So what this is supposed to do is reheat the glue and then make the glue stick without like all those wrinkles like you might get if you were doing it the other way. So I'm really excited. Now, one thing I am doing that's stupid, sorry, I can say if I'm doing something stupid right, is that I'm working on this wood table and I have nothing in between me and the table and the craft. So that's kind of scary, but you know. All right, let's see how we did. Oh, yes, it stuck to it and it looks very smooth, very, very smooth. So now what you're gonna see is when it goes in, it's gonna be like this. How's it look? Oh, that's gonna look good. Okay, so then we're gonna put our design smack dab in the middle. All right, so now we need to put this together. So I have it kind of in an order. So this was supposed to be the back, right? So it's solid. Then this goes on, and this is where I think I messed up. So the moon is supposed to be white. For some reason, I ended up with this. So if I put this in, then what happens is it's like, I don't even need to have the red anymore because it doesn't show anymore. So what I'm thinking is I might slip this moon in back here. Oh, and then that way we'll do that. So then I'm going to take it out for now. So just picture the moon is white. And then the next layer is going to be more clouds. Oh, isn't this going to be pretty? And then the kitties with the heart, with the tails and a heart. So it looks kind of cool. I don't know if you can imagine it or not. So now what I do is I use these pop dots. Unfortunately, I am almost out. I do not have enough to finish the project. But I like these because they're tiny. So I also have this, which is like a tape. So I have one that's open. Ah, here's one that's nope. Okay, so for example, oh, thank you. Okay, we can turn that off now. I'm gonna unplug this. We don't need that again. Now I know, I love that. So like that's a really easy way to decoupage something without it like having all the wrinkles and stuff. Although I usually like the wrinkles. Anyways, so on this, what we can do is, so I'm gonna turn this upside down and I'm gonna start with the back one. And on here, I want this to kind of be like 3D. So I want it to stand up. So what I'm gonna do is and you can actually tear these, and I'm tearing little tiny pieces off and I'm gonna put them in various places on here. I mean, we can cut it too, just for anybody who likes perfect. Not that that's me, but okay. So because it's got a backing that peels off, I'm just putting this on and then I'll peel the backing off. And so I've got it like on places that I want it to stick up. I'm going to put another one like right there. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be so pretty. Oh, I should have had these cut out earlier. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and do that on both sides of that moon because don't forget I still want to get, but you want to try to not have it show. So see, it's just kind of all over the place. And then it gets a little bit trickier as the design gets into the bigger level or the smaller levels, because like the topper level, sorry, the top levels, because what happens is that it gets smaller, and so that's why I'm saving those dots. So I think that I lost that one. So I think that this is going to be pretty good right here. I'm gonna do one more for this little tiny baby area. And so, have any of you tried this? This is like one of my favorite things to do. I love t-shirts. I love making t-shirts. But this is, I feel like, very fun. And it's not like ridiculously challenging. Once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not too bad. So again, this is going to be kind of like where you got to be careful on where you're going to put things. So like you don't, like if I put the cat upside down, that's going to look a little goofy. I should probably figure out how I want this moon now. Okay, so I am going to have to kind of manipulate this just a tad. Let's see how I can do this. So I'm going to cut a very small one off. I'm going to take this, I'm going to move this one to over here. And I want this very right there at the end. So maybe it can catch the moon. This white moon. Okay. Maybe it might be that the moon's just going to have to be red. I don't know. What is that, a harvest moon, right? But I'm getting to the very edge because the moon is not that much bigger than, or if it's probably the same size as the hole. So let's see what we can do with this. So now I'm going to put the moon on. Okay, cross fingers. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Okay, so we do still have some of this paper. And so I'm going to try and I'm going to just cut one a little bit bigger. I don't want to go to the Cricut and have to recreate this and all that. So hopefully this will work. So again, this is why you keep scraps. And so as soon as that stuff came off of the mat, I started cutting things so that I could save it for another use. Okay, so and this doesn't have to be pretty because it just needs to fit back here behind. Oh, what do you think? I think it's good. You look at that, you can't even tell. And it's not even round. Okay, so I'm also going to now put one of these on the back of the moon. Yeah, baby. Or maybe I won't because then it'll make the layer different. Okay, so now the trick is to just go ahead and make sure that you've got it, oops, lined up. They should all be the same size. I don't know if you can see this yet. Just need to move a little bit. But can you tell that it's layered yet? Okay, so the next one is going to be this one. And it's going to, so you want to make sure you didn't mess anything up.